I want, first of all, thank you all for coming. And I'm going to talk a little bit about an energy plan that I announced last week in Iowa and a couple of new additions to that energy plan. What I talked about last week in Iowa was a bold and dramatic plan about how we deal with these things. First is a cap on carbon dioxide emissions, a national cap on carbon dioxide emissions, a plan to ratchet that cap down so that we have reduced carbon dioxide emissions in America by 80% by the year 2050. The right to emit carbon dioxide under this cap will be auctioned off. That auction will generate billions of dollars. 10 billion of those dollars will go into a fund to allow us to transform the way we use energy in America. That 10 billion will be added to another 3 billion generated by eliminating subsidies and tax breaks for oil companies. This fund will be used to help transform the way we use energy in America, to be generating at least 25% of our electricity by the year 2025 from renewable sources of energy. The clean tech that's being done here in the state of California, and particularly in the Silicon Valley, where I've spent some time over the last few weeks, shows great promise about what's possible, and the creation of jobs, the creation of green-collar jobs to replace some of the blue-collar jobs that we've lost. We believe we can create at least 1 million new jobs, and particularly in the places where those jobs are needed the most. Also, $1 billion of this money will go to help American automakers develop the technology to make them more effective and more competitive in meeting higher fuel efficiency standards, which I propose need to be raised, the fuel efficiency standards in the United States. And then provisions about conservation, not just about automobiles, but in homes, in offices, in the workplace. The new addition, which I'm announcing today, is a ban on coal-fired power plants, the building of new coal-fired power plants that don't have a way to capture their greenhouse gases. And the idea here is there is already a coal gasification process that can be used. It's a precursor, basically, to complete carbon capture. It's being used in a couple of places in the country. But we don't want to create, I think there are something like 150 of these power plants on the coal-fired power plants on the books, on the drawing boards, I should say. And what we don't want to do is continue to accelerate the process of America's contribution to the problem of greenhouse gases. So the idea here is to put a ban in place and develop the technology, continuing development of the technology, so that we can in fact capture the carbon dioxide emissions from coal-fired power plants. There is absolutely no military solution to Iraq. The only solution is for the Sunni and the Shia to reach a political reconciliation. How do we shift the responsibility to them? The most effective way to do that is to make it clear that we're not going to continue to prop them up. But I'm not for an immediate and total withdrawal. I think it should be done in a 40 to 50,000 out now, and over the course of about a year, get the rest of the combat troops out. But that has to be combined with engagement of other countries in the region, and specifically the Syrians and the Iranians, who have an incentive to help stabilize Iraq, because they don't want refugees, they don't want a broader Middle East conflict. I do think we have to maintain some presence in the region. We ought to redeploy some troops into Kuwait. We probably need some additional troops in Afghanistan, given what's happening there. We need a naval presence in the Persian Gulf. And I think it's the responsibility of the president, as this redeployment occurs and the engagement of the other countries in the region, to also develop a plan for the worst possible scenario. Because that's one of the mistakes we've made, is we have not prepared for that, and we need, America and the international community needs a plan for containment. Basically what it does is it covers every single American. There's a requirement that employers either cover their employees or pay into a fund for coverage. The government sets up what's called healthcare markets around the country. And in each of those markets, consumers have a choice between private insurers and a government-run plan, a Medicare Plus plan. The government subsidizes health insurance premiums for low and middle-income families. There's an efficiency created that doesn't exist in today's healthcare system because we mandate use of technology, electronic record keeping, significantly lower administrative costs. The cost of the entire healthcare system go down dramatically for those reasons, in addition to a complete preventative health care coverage so that people are healthier, basically. We fill in the gaps in the healthcare system. Mental health parity, mental health treated just like physical health, chronic care, long-term care, preventative care, all covered, and deal with the issue of job lock by if you have your health care coverage in one of these healthcare markets, you can take it with you. In other words, if you like it, you keep it. And as I said, it's mandatory that everyone be covered, so it'll cover every American.
Could you restate the cost of the plan and how you pay for it? I think it's at 90 to 130.
It's 90 to 120 billion. And this paid for by a combination of things, but the biggest piece by far is rolling back President Bush's tax cuts for people who make more than $200,000 a year. Thank you all very much. Good to see all of you. Thank you.